So coming to the determination of sample size, actually it is the act of choosing the number of observations and replicates to include in a statistical sample, right? So how many number of observations that we are going to select, that yesterday also the factors or point to be noted in that lecture, we have seen that how important it is, the what is the type of variant or sample, the type of research, so all those things. So it is the selecting or choosing the number, right? How many number it is going, whether it is heterogeneous or homogeneous, it is what is the type of class, right? So the number of observation and the replicates how it is going to be. So in that we are selecting that, right? We are determining the sample so that we can go for the proper research or study, right? So coming to the sample size is an important feature of any empirical study in which the goal is to make inferences about a population from a sample, right? So ultimately this population, it is the entire variant or entire replicates. From here, how many things we are going to select for our study, which will be able to, ultimately the goal is to make the inference or result or outcome from this population, how much we are going to select so that we can reach up to one kind of inferences or one kind of observance ki these particular variants are giving that particular types of observations, right? So generally what is the sample size? Sample size, it is nothing but this is the subpopulation to be studied in order to make an inference to a reference population, right? Right, whatever the reference population we have taken, like the people's living into the Guntapalli village, so that is the reference population. From there, how many males are suffering from diabetes, how many females are suffering from diabetes. So ultimately we are going to get how much peoples if we are taking, we will be able to predict that what is going on. Here you can see in example is 10,000 is the number of population, right? And the sample size, if it is going to be 10%, from 10,000 if we are going to take the sample 10%, the sample size is going to be 1,000. So from 10,000, 1,000 if you are taking, it is going to be the 10%. So 10% sample, if it is sufficient to predict the any kinds of results, then it is okay. If here another example, in 5,000 population, if you are going to take the 15% of the sample, so sample size it is going to be 750, right? So likewise we are going to determine how much it is going to be the sample size. So coming to the sample size determination, it is in the mathematical estimation, how we have seen just now. It is the mathematical estimation of the number of subjects or number of units to be included in a study. How much number, how many numbers we are going to select from that particular population, and which will be there in the mathematical form or numerical form, so that we can get the conduct our study and we will get the proper inferences. So required for following reasons. Why it is required? To allow for appropriate analysis, that yesterday also we discussed, right? So appropriate analysis, it is possible if you are taking more number, not 15% or 20% or 10%. If you are taking 50%, 50% of the sample size, then it is going to be the lengthy process, and you are not going to get the appropriate analysis, you are not able to do. To provide the desired level of accuracy, right? What is our desire, how much accuracy we want for the study, that we are going to get if we do so. To allow validity of significance test, the test should be significance and it should have its own validity. How large sample need, that also yesterday we tried to discuss that how large it is supposed to be. So if it is coming to the how large, here we can see here into this, if the sample is too small, what will happen? If the sample is too large, what will happen, right? Coming to here, if the sample is too small, Even a well-conducted study may fail to answer the research question. Ultimately, in any research, we have one question that we are trying to get the answer. So, if it is very small and we will not be able to compare, so if we are doing whatever the good methodology we are following, good procedure we are following, then also it is going to fail to answer our question what we have arised during starting the research. It may fail to detect important effect or association. The detection of the important effect, what is going on. For example, yesterday I given you the example, when we are doing the animal study, in each group we are taking the 6 animals. So if we are taking only 2 animals, right, because your sample size is too small, so if you are taking the 2 animal in each group, if one animal will die because of the XYZ reason, only one animal we are with one animal we are not going to detect the important effect what is going on, if it is anti-diabetic or anti-inflammatory or analgesic, whatever study we are conducting, the what is the effect, because we will not be having another animal to compare. Ultimately, with comparison only we can see the here the it is having good effect, here it is not having good effect, like that. It may associate this effect or imprecisely, right, the proper, it is not going to get the proper uh, effect, right. If the sample size is too large or very much, instead of 10% we are taking the 50% or 90%, what will happen, the study will become difficult and costly. Of course, if you are taking more number of animal, instead of n is equal to 6, you are taking n is equal to 60. So 60 animal cost who will bear? The funding agency has to bear. So that's what it will become. And first of all, to go for dissection of those 60 animal, go for a blood sample collection, enzyme collection, and all the activity study, it will become very difficult because our data will increase and we will not be able to analyze properly. Time consistent, that time also it will take definitely. If you will observe a 6 animal, that is convenient, or if you will observe a 60 animal, that will convenient. Obviously 6 animal it is convenient, right? So it will get take more time. Available case, example rare disease, if you are taking the for example, if you are studying up COVID-19 now, the cases has been reduced in our country. So now if you will go for searching in the particular village or particular district, the number of disease or infected from the coronavirus, that cases will be not available that much, so you will not be able to go for analysis properly. Then loss of accuracy, if the sample size are more number and larger, so it is going to lose its accuracy or the perfectness. So what we do in the power analysis, what is the power of analysis, right? Power analysis, what when it is applicable, when the estimated sample size cannot be included in the study, whatever the estimation we have done, for example 10%, in previous slide I told you 10% we are supposed to take. So in that 10%, if that it is you are not able to get that much cases, so what will happen, your estimated sample size it cannot be included, because instead of 10% you are getting only 5%. So in that case we have to go for power analysis. Post hoc power analysis should be carried out in that case. Post hoc power analysis should be carried out. So let us understand what is the post hoc power analysis. It is done after a study has been carried out, right? Once a study will complete with the less number of or not estimated number of sample size, then we are going to have this after study complete, we have to carry out this post hoc power analysis to help to explain the results. If a study which did not find any significant effect, what is the level of significant, whether we are able to predict the particular research or study, if it is not sufficient. Suppose in the you are supposed to get in Guntapalli village 100 number of COVID patient, but instead of that you could not get 100 number, you got only 10 number of COVID patient. So this 10 number, we cannot predict that what happened in the month of November or August or September. So we have to go back and we have to do the post hoc power analysis for that particular same study, and we are trying to find out the significant value which will help us, right? sample size to be addressed during the planning stage and while designing the study, right? So all these things we have to that should be addressed. The stage of interpretation of a result, right, at that time. So coming to the different procedure for the study, this one, how what are the procedure for calculating sample size, right? Procedure for calculating sample size, what how we can calculate this one. So there are some four procedures, four method has been given. Use of formula, second one ready made table, and third one nemograms are available, and the fourth one different computer softwares it is available, that we are going to study in the third unit also, it is there, right? So coming to the first one, use of formula, right? What are the formula it is there for study of for determination of the sample size? The first one, there are many formula for calculating sample size, and for example you can see here, if the population it is 10,000 or below that, so if it is greater than 10,000 for example, right, if it is greater than 10,000, so what is the formula it is there? N is equal to Z square PQ divided by D square, right? So what this N stand for desired sample size. What is our estimation of what we want to be the sample size, right? So this formula, so this Z represent the standard normal deviate, okay. Then P is stand for the proportion in target population, how much proportion, and Q it is nothing but 1 minus P, whatever the value of P will be there, 1 minus P it is going to be Q. What is Q? Q is the proportion in target population not having particular characteristics, right? Whereas D stand for D square here up divided by D square. So D stand for degree of accuracy required. Usually set a 0.05 level of significance. This we are taking generally in the degree of accuracy. How much accuracy or how much level of significance you required for your desired sample size, that is going to be the V. Here 0.01 is there, 0.001 also we can take, and 0.05 generally, at least that much it is supposed to have, right? So this formula it is going to help you. So let us understand with the example. Here one example has been given by putting this formula. So how this example suggests that we can see here, if the proportion of a target population with certain characteristics is 0.50, Z statistic is 1.96, where desired accuracy at 0.05, that is the D value, right? How much level of significance you want? If desired accuracy you want 0.05 level, so the sample size you are going to find out like this, right? So Z statistic it is 1.96 square, then 0.5 already the value given, and this level you want here also, right? So how it is going to be? It is going to have N is equal to 384, right? So this is going to help you if you are going to calculate the desired population size. So 384 it is going to be the population size for that particular greater than 10,000 population. If the study population is less than 10,000, so what you, how you are going to do? NF, that is nothing but again desired sample size when it is this much, okay. So how it is going to be? N divided by 1 plus N divided by capital N. Here you should remember small n and a capital N, right? So both are different. So here NF is desired sample size, small n which is there inside the formula, that is desired sample size, right, for this one, and capital N estimate population size, right? So these are the different formula which we can use for the study, right? That will help you. Then next one, how we can do the analysis for that, the use of nemogram. Here you can see use of nomogram to calculate sample size or effective size which we want. Clinically important to detect this one nomogram, there will be one grams, the like chromatogram, one tables will be there, one graph like that. That graph it is going to tell you, for example, 40% patient treated with the standard therapy are cured, right? So standard drug, if it has been given to the particular sample or population, 40% of the patient they got treated. So one want to know, or anybody want to know, the whether a new drug can cure 50% or not. So one is looking for 25% increase in cure rate. So how you are going to here, you can see here 50% minus 40% divided by 40% is equal to 25%. So here you can see in the nomogram number of patients required in each treatment group. Okay, so here the percentage responding in control group, here you can see the down it is telling the percentage changes in response rate for that particular drug. So here what is the percentage you want? For example, here 20%, 25%, 30% percentage changes in response. So accordingly, number of patients required. You can see if you are asking for 20%, so you should go till here. How much? It is 500. Sorry, 300. Okay. If you here, it is 100. If it is 35%, 100. So this nomogram, wherever you will point out, that will tell you the number of required patient, the patient required, how many numbers it is required, right? So that like that you can nomogram for calculating sample size for the studies using the dichromatous variables, right? Then the fourth one, you can see the different softwares are available, use of computer software like EP info, epidemiological information, power and precision software, then nQuery software, sample, then stat and SPSS, right? So clinical stats are there, STATA, stata, right? So these are the name of the software which can also help you to determine the sample size for your study, right? So that also we can do here. So coming to the next, here the one thing we forgot here, the second method for the determination of sample size, that is the use of ready-made tables for the sample, right? So ready-made tables are also available for the sample size determination. Here, how large a sample of patients should be followed up. If an investigator wishes to estimate the incidence rate of a disease to within 10% of its true value with 90% of confidence. So level of confidence, how much? 95%, right? If the level of confidence it is 95%, so here the tables will be available. The table shows E is equal to 0.10 and the confidence level 95%. A sample size of 385 would be needed. How? We can see here, table can be used to calculate the sample size. Here confidence level, how much? You have 99% confidence level, 95% confidence level and 90% of confidence level. So how much you are going to get here? Relative precision, E value. So E value, if suppose here E value it is 0.10 and the level of confidence 95%. So how much it will be? You can see 95% and 0.10. If you'll go, so it will be here 0.50 for 95%, it will 16, 0.104 if 95% it is 2402. So like that, with confidence level and the relative precision, you can directly select the number of sample size, right? The how much sample size you are going to take in which confidence level. So this ready-made table it is going to help you, right? So ultimately there are four types we have studied for the sample size determination. These are the procedure for calculating sample size, use of formula. That formula we have seen, n is equal to n, nf is equal to Ready-made tables are available. Just now I told you with the level of confidence and how much namograms are available, how much percentage you required for the number of patients, and the different computer softwares like EP Info, STAT, SPSS, right? So these four procedures you can take for the calculating of the sample size, which will help you, right? So this is the procedures for the calculating of sample size determination, right? That we can